Yeah, I'm thinking now about like this client I had. He was very much going down the checklist kind of guy, and
Yeah.
his expectation of any story and all that. And he hired me to edit this video for a tour bus company. I'm sure you've seen in cities we have tour buses that take
Yeah.
tourists around,
Kind of
and it
loop
was a
round.
video that was meant to loop in the lobby of their building. And
Hmm.
I edited it for him. Told the story of New York City really nicely. Went from point A to point B to point C. You know, when you're in New York City, the story is Broadway. So I went from Grand Central to Times Square, all the way down Broadway, all the way to Battery Park. We can see the Statue of Liberty, and then back up again. It's a great
Yeah.
story. It's this history of New York. He comes back at me the day I won my first film festival award.
Yeah.
An award for storytelling, essentially. Any film festival award is an award for storytelling. He's like, "This sucks. You have no semblance of story. You have no idea of story structure." I'm like, I was just so baffled. He owes me $1,000 for that job, and I think that he might have just been trying to skeeve out of that job. But he is an example of somebody who just he he's working this corporate position, going down this checklist of things, and because his idea of what the story of that bus ride should be didn't coincide with what I thought was a really wonderful interpretation for this
Yeah.
video. I had no direction whatsoever. He just said, edit this thing so it can play in a loop. I'm like, all right. Any film student would probably just throw all that footage together in any random order and call it a day. At least the
Yeah.
ones
Yeah.
I went to school with. I actually put thought into this. All right, you're coming into Grand Central. You're going to go over to Times Square first. Or you're going to hit the library. Then you're going to go to Times Square. Then you're going to go down Broadway. And as you go down Broadway, you'll see the Empire State Building. You'll see Madison Square Garden. You'll see the Flatiron District, so on and so forth. I put thought into that. That story. That's the story of New York.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
I mean, the first street in New York was Broadway. And the reason it is because it kind of goes alongside the Hudson River from the Battery all the way to Albany, New York, and upstate New York State. Like, I put thought into this fucking thing. And to be told that by this check mark making administrative asshole on the same day that I won my first film festival award says everything I need to know about these types of people.
That's the, it.
I,
It speaks. Yeah.
I can't negotiate it. Like, I can't negotiate it professionally in my brain and being like, okay, this is like, I just get infuriated. It's not even
And
about the
especially,
money or the fact that he still owes me $1,000. Like, it's just like, how do people not think this way? And I do think, once again, we're coming full circle. Education all comes
yeah.
down to
Yeah. Yeah.
education. Sorry, I interrupted you a little bit there, but
No. No.
I
No.
was on a
Not at all.
fucking roll.
I could tell. I could tell you were like, like riffing, and I was like, I got to let this play out because I don't want to just jump in prematurely. But no, I had the same because obviously I was using. I decided to use Fiverr, didn't I? Because and that's I think what we met through initially.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna
Um,
name it because I wasn't gonna try to promote it because I didn't like how much money they were taking from you.
yeah,
They
I
they
don't think
were like taking money from me and you.
it was 20% they were taking from
That's
my end,
gross.
which is like a lot.
Yeah.
And obviously, they to be fair, I mean, I mean, we met through it, and like I've met other collaborators through it, but I got really into just doing muzzle flash effects. I don't know why. It was just a weird obsession where I just spent years doing muzzle flashes.
That
And
was
so
the
I,
effect I hired you for.
yeah, and so I thought, okay, I'll do. And it was crazy. I put up. No one had a job on there for muzzle flashes, and so I put up muzzle flashes. And within 2 days, there's like 5 other people doing it. So I went, oh, but it basically it got picked by Fiverr's staff because no one else was doing that in visual effects category. And as a result, I got loads of like short film. Because it's such an in demand when you start filmmaking. One of the big things I think is running around with like airsoft guns, and so I get loads of like requests for this, and that's actually how I got the big interactive game. Was actually obviously like I say I talked about earlier on Fiverr, but the only reason I did it was because it suited it's at that point in time I didn't want to be fully in full-time employment, but on there you can accept or deny. So I'd sort of sit there and say, oh, okay, we've got these, these job requests, and I could kind of, work when I needed to. But yeah, obviously in the end I thought, like that, especially if it's like a bit, a job where it's like hours and hours, and like 20% to me just seemed a bit, like 10% I'd be like, okay, but like 20 I was like, that's like just a
Yeah,
bit
and it's
of
gonna.
step.
I guarantee you. I'm glad we tapered off that platform and that we're just negotiating behind the scenes. But like, it's gonna get worse for people on there, because if
Yeah.
there's one thing I've learned about a lot of these apps and social media websites and whatnot, they always end up kicking their users to the curb, and we're seeing that now with uh, OnlyFans. I think that's the name of it, where
Oh yeah, yeah.
they built their brand off sex workers, and now that they're raising outside funds, they're kicked all the sex workers to the curb, and are just promoting their celebrities that are on there. And it's just like, fucking YouTube did that too. Like, they built their platform off independent filmmakers.
Yeah.
I was one of the first indie filmmakers up there, and I can safely say that I had the first indie film trailer on YouTube the year it was founded.
I remember
Nobody
seeing
was,
this.
yeah, nobody thought to do that. They were just putting up their home movies. I'm like, I'm gonna put my trailer up, and we went viral. Like, we
Yeah,
were
yeah.
the first indie film trailer on there to go viral. And I was a YouTube partner for a number of years, and then at a certain point, they're like, you know what, we don't want to pay the lower performing people, even though we're going to
Yeah.
run ads on them. So they did the cap at like 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Amazon did it a few years after that. I actually made money off some of my short films through Amazon until the bean counters retooled how they pay people, because they wanted to be able to pay celebrities more. And
Yeah.
all the people that built that platform, the no budget independent filmmakers, got kicked to the curb. And Fiverr is going to do the same thing. So if you think 20% is a lot, it's going to get worse.
Yes, it all feeds in as well to the whole sort of social media age. I mean, I remember the year that Facebook became popular kind of around where we lived, and it was about 2010. And this is probably not good, but I was being 10 years old at the time. I was like, oh, I got to get Facebook. And I remember in those days, and obviously you'll remember, like Facebook was, you literally see the post in order of what's been posted recently. So you like go on Facebook and you see everything, but it's like, of all your friends, what's most recent?
Yeah.
So you'd have 10 minutes ago, an hour ago, and then you'd have like maybe an ad on the side.
Yeah.
And then the rise of these algorithms. I mean, me and like so many people I know, literally, I have accounts for promoting work, like as in like, if there's a song or something like that, I have accounts. But I use the Facebook business app to make posts, just because I don't want my brain hijacked by Instagram. Because I just remember a turning point in like 2013 where suddenly it's like, we're going to show you infinitely, like, we're now going to start showing you exactly what we think you want to see, and learning, and that I think is so scary. I think it was even one of the documentaries that came out last year, either The Social Dilemma or one of those, and they said a great thing about how technology should be like a tool and like a bike, where you go to it when you need it and then you can use it as a tool. But when it's like so evasive that it's trying to constantly pull you in and take your time, and obviously time translating to money or data or whatever it is, it becomes something else. And it's like, even like a camera, right? Like a phone versus a camera. A camera's like, okay, I need to make a movie. I'm going to pick up the tool. I'm going to, use it for the purpose I want, put the tool back down. But like over phone, it's like so, we're so sort of cybernetic, but it's just not like implants yet. It's just, we hold it in our hand.
Yeah.
But it's crazy time. And YouTube obviously being the same, because I remember YouTube when it was like that, and now it's something very, very different.
And it's hard for me to tell that story too, because I still really believe in YouTube.
Me too,
I
actually.
mean, we're going to put this fucking thing on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I believe that it is probably the best social media platform out there right now. But yeah, that whole thing with Facebook filtering out your friends' posts to replace them with ads, that kind of shit just gets under my skin. I can't negotiate what's going through people's minds when they think that that's a good idea. That's so bad for society and for people.
Yeah, and it makes you, you just put out a few posts that a certain friend doesn't like, and then they never see anything from you again.